Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation to speak here. My name is Andy Miah, and I work just down the road at the University of Salford. Yes. And it is actually really nice to see lots of friends here today, new and old. And I usually give kind of talks about VR in sports context. I do a lot of work with the Olympic movement, and I was going to do that today. But then I thought to myself, we're in Media City, Salford's just there, and it could be nice to reflect on what we've done at Salford and what we're trying to do still. I've been at Salford now for 4 years, and over that time have found many people working on VR, trying to develop things. And I actually wanted, whilst I was sitting there listening, I wanted to ask you 3 questions. Hands up if you've developed a VR, AR, or alternate reality experience. Hands up if you've developed one. So you've got a product, you can say, I worked on that, and we put it out there. So that's about 30, 40% maybe. Hands up if you think you know what you're doing with virtual reality. Not a single hand went up. Final one, hands up if you've been working in this world for more than 5 years. A couple of hands. So it's useful to know a bit more about you, because I feel like we're still trying to figure out what we're doing here. We're still trying to figure out who's doing it within the university, because it pops up in different places. New pockets of VR innovation occur. We got one guy that developed a Brexit VR experience last year in order to study kind of mental health a bit. But so we have people doing stuff that's really interesting. And what we try to do is bring together the researchers, the students, and the industry. So what I want to do with these few minutes that I've got is tell you a bit about what we're doing. And really it's a kind of a call for collaboration, because at the university we're trying to bring people into our space, literally. We have an event that will take place next month, which is part of Manchester Science Festival that we call Game Lab. We ran this for the first time last year. We have over at that building, if you're able to pop around. If anyone wants a tour, I'll give a tour today if anyone can get there. But not during the conference, obviously. But it tries to utilize this multi-million-pound space and pack it with innovation and people that want to work with us, develop things, and figure out new stuff that brings together all different disciplines. And my background's kind of led me to this area. I worked in science, law, philosophy, arts, media design, and all those kind of creative juices inform how we curate this program. And I was speaking to Rob Scott, I'm not sure he's still here, from BBC earlier, about a music VR experience, and I thought we don't have anything that's going to bring our music department into this world, and we need to get something like it. So Game Lab tries to bring these different disciplines together, get these kind of collaborations emerging, and partly it's to recognize that the state of the industry is still, for many people, trying to figure out how to get enough funds to do the R&D work to get to something where you might have a product at the end of it. And for that reason, we kind of hope that these experiences over a weekend will lead into longer collaborations. And that's because we believe that the innovation happens when you bring these kind of interactions between disciplines and different people. So we have people working in biology that are developing virtual reality experiences, psychology, arts, media, and business as well. So the weekend is trying to set up an ecosystem, a way of working with each other, but also a way of connecting these aspirations with our wider aspirations in life. So it is a family weekend. We say to people that come and exhibit, don't just come on your own or with your business colleagues, bring your family too. We've got things for kids up from the age of 5 years old and over, things that we hope they can experience and kind of get inspired to think about both what we do as their grown-ups around them, but also how they might bring that kind of work into their own lives as kids. And it seems odd to say that, but actually I think one of the problems we have recognized over the years is that we've created sort of divisions between kids and adults when thinking about the future. And I'm very conscious of the meetings that I go to, which are kind of horizon scanning meetings, thinking about the future of humanity. There aren't many young people there. So trying to make that an inclusive space is a big part of what we tried to do. I want to give you a bit of a sense of what it felt like last year, just to give you an idea of if you could get involved this year, what sort of thing you're getting into. one of the things that's really important about this event is that we don't think about it as our event. The people that we collaborate with, we want them to bring ideas for things that they would like to develop, that we could help them install, and really make that process of collaboration central to the whole design of it. The event doesn't sit on its own, however. If you can kill the sound for the rest of the presentation, it'd be great. We've been working on this for a few years. A couple of years ago, when Manchester was the European City of Science, we worked with the artist Di Mainstone to develop an augmented reality sandpit, which again tries to bring in these values of playfulness, of accessibility, and couple them with innovation, experimentation, and design. So we often say to people, if you have got something you're kind of working on or something you like to play with and figure out, you can do it over that weekend. And it becomes this space in which people get something very different out of it from their usual kind of showcasing. But again, we're also keen for people to develop the things and show the things that they're comfortable with. We've also worked with people in science and engineering, scientists themselves, to develop installations that have become award-winning, and that value of building research-led virtual reality experiences is central to it. So what we hope out of this weekend is that the collaborations that are fostered lead into these sorts of interactions that allow us to do things like we've done here with Mike Wood's research, bringing people into the Chernobyl exclusion zone, a place that people can't access. And that desire to make these worlds accessible, to bring people into a place where they've not been before, seems, to me at least, central to what we should be doing with virtual reality interactions, creating alternate worlds, giving people a sense of some other place. And what's really exciting for me in this sort of context is to see people like Mike, who would have nothing to do with virtual reality or even creative technologies, were it not for this kind of collaboration. But it also allows us to kind of multiply the range of funding pots that comes into the development. So we often find that there are companies that are either starting up or are kind of just about sustainable, that we can then match them up with some research funds, build something that can actually be justified on the basis of it being a public engagement experience like this weekend, and allow everyone to get something out of it that allows them to keep their salary or have a salary, and also do something that's completely different, occupy a different world. We've also tried to bring this into a sort of a range of different sort of theatrical experiences. So a few years ago, we worked with a theatre company to realize a physical interaction. This was called Transmission Interactive, working with scientists to explore the science of disease transmission. And within this physical space, we could have the opportunity to convey the science, but also to give people a bit of a sense of how mixed reality experiences can be designed differently and help us, importantly, reimagine the physical space in which we live and work. So through these collaborations over the 4 years that I've been at Salford, I still feel like we're figuring it out. But that's why especially things like Game Lab are a way of trying to keep building those connections. I've already met a bunch of people that I hadn't seen before who are here in the building, who have great work that could just be paired with some of the different degree programs we have and the researchers and what they're trying to do. There's an energy and an enthusiasm to get involved with this kind of work. So in my 10 seconds that are left, we'd love to collaborate with you. Please get in touch. We have a hard deadline coming up. 24th of September is my deadline, 20th is your deadline. If you want to get involved, we'd love to have you. That URL will take you there. There's a form you can fill in. It is part of Manchester Science Festival, the biggest science festival in England, for which we are the educational partners, and we'd love to get to know you. Thanks very much.